the aliens of Pluto. In 2011, astrophysicists Ed Turner and Avi Loeb were discussing the Fukushima nuclear plant incident, which gave the public knowledge of Tokyo's electricity usage. The bright lights of the city gave way to a dimmer phase after the disaster and the subsequent power cutbacks. Turner and Loeb postulated that such drastic changes could be easily seen by observers 30 times farther out than Pluto. The proposed Large Synoptic Survey telescope will photograph the entire night sky every few days or so. Changes in the lights of heavenly bodies will be easily noted. The man suggested that, in the decades to come, it may be possible to see if Pluto's light is merely due to light reflected from the Sun or if it is generated by artificial sources on Pluto's surface. On that note, a few theories have been postulated that life might be possible inside Pluto. Scientists have suggested the presence of plate tectonics in Pluto, which could mean that it has a warm, underground ocean, a possible habitat for life. The planet's former moon Charon may also have such features. Once NASA's Horizons probe takes the first high-resolution images of Pluto and Charon in 2015, we may finally have answers. Life on Titan. In June 2010, NASA's Cassini probe found that Titan, one of Saturn's many moons, has a very dense atmosphere. Since then, 2 studies have raised further questions about Titan's nature. The first, from the journal Icarus, showed that traces of hydrogen gas from Saturn's atmosphere were disappearing on Titan's surface. The other, from the Journal of Geographic Research, noted unexpectedly low levels of the hydrocarbon acetylene on the Moon's surface. NASA has proposed a few different possible explanations for the observations. A catalyst on the Moon's surface could be converting hydrogen and acetylene to methane. Sunlight and cosmic rays may also be responsible for the vanishing chemicals. The most interesting explanation is biological. An organism is breathing in the hydrogen and consuming the acetylene. Such an organism would be unlike anything currently known to exist. It would be a methane-based life form, which has never been observed. NASA scientists who talk of Titan's methane beings stated that we have no proof of them, we've just observed conditions consistent with their hypothesized existence. But that didn't stop newspapers from claiming to quote NASA in saying alien life exists on Saturn's moon. A design for a proposed Saturn moon lander, the Titan Mare Explorer, TME, is still under development in NASA. Arthur C. Clarke and Martian vegetation. Beloved author and screenwriter Arthur C. Clarke long believed in life on Mars. In 2001, Clarke downloaded several photos from NASA's website captured by the Mars Global Surveyor and was delighted to see what he thought were trees. Clarke spoke to a crowd in his home in Sri Lanka, saying that the pictures showed things that were growing on the planet's surface. Clarke said, "I'm quite serious when I say I have a really good look at these new Mars images. Something is actually moving and changing with the seasons that suggest, at least, vegetation." In another interview, he joked, "I'm now convinced that Mars is inhabited by a race of demented landscape gardeners." The images were actually simply sand dunes, covered in or affected by frozen carbon dioxide. Over time, dark sand cascades down the dunes, leaving streaks that may look like trees to the less educated eye. Viking landers finding life on Mars. During the 70s, NASA's Viking landers probed Martian soil, eagerly looking for signs of life on the Red Planet. While the landers did not find actual microorganisms, traces of carbon dioxide turned up in the collected samples. Some scientists looked at the results and concluded that living organisms had to be on the planet, producing the compound. The findings have been disputed for decades. Recently, some scientists have concluded that iron particles in Martian soil could have oxidized carbon compounds that exist naturally there. Though evidence from Viking may not point to current Martians, carbon in the soil may still indicate that life once existed on the planet. Today's research focuses less on finding living organisms there and more on investigating if the atmosphere could preserve traces of life even after long stretches of time. Martians contact Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla may have been one of the most brilliant scientists in human history, but he also falsely claimed to have received artificial signals of extraterrestrial origin. He said they were from Mars or Venus. In a letter to the New York Times, Tesla wrote of how Mars, of the two planets, could support life. He viewed the distance of the planets from the Sun in terms of evolution. Venus was at a youthful stage, perhaps unable to fully sustain humanoid life. Earth was at full growth. Mars had reached old age, yet it had passed through prime biological and technological evolutionary stages. Tesla suggested ways to improve our means to communicate with Mars, first by relocating our observatories to send clearer signals through the atmosphere. In 1937, Tesla's work led him to believe that he could win the Pierre Gusman Prize of 100,000 francs for the first person who will find the means of communicating with a star and of receiving a response. The prize rules excluded contact with Mars, however, because that would have been too easy.